Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morale Booster with John Ughulu. And today I have with me another very intelligent lady. She actually just got a house with her husband. Congratulations to you on that before we get started.
Thank you.
All right. So her name is Dr. Lillian Pedraza. She is a pharmacist by profession, and she is the founder of Debt-Free PharmD. So she is a financial coach, and today she will be sharing all the tips on how pharmacists can become debt-free from their student loans. So thank you, Lillian, for joining me on the program.
Thank you for having me.
All right, my pleasure. So Lillian, I know we're going to have a very interesting discussion today because when it comes to student debt, student loans, a lot of people are eager to know ways, tricks, tips on how to remove that from their life. Considering the fact that you guys who studied medicine, pharmacy, took out so much money, would want you to share with us how you managed to do yours. But first of all, tell us who you are because you will be in a better position to tell us what you do. Tell us who you are and what you do.
Well, as you said, John, I'm Dr. Lillian Pedraza. I am by profession a pharmacist, and I work currently in managed care for a health plan. That's what I do for my day job, as it were. And through the story that you're about to hear over the next few minutes, I was inspired to start both a company, as it were, and also a movement called Debt-Free PharmD. You can search hashtag on Instagram or Facebook, hashtag Debt-Free PharmD, because what I want to do is promote more pharmacists who can pay off their student loans, become debt-free, because I feel that in the pharmacy climate today, there's a lot of pressure for people to potentially stay in jobs they don't want to because they have a crushing student loan debt burden. And so I feel that not only for, as a person individually, is it amazing to be debt free, it's also amazing professionally because you're able to take risks that you may not normally take if you, need a steady paycheck to be able to pay student loans, mortgage, what have you. And so really, not only is it something that I think is, personally satisfying, but it's also something I feel is really good for the profession of pharmacy as a whole to allow innovation to take place if more pharmacists are debt free.
That's awesome. That's a very nice one there. And I must commend your effort because it's not easy for people to tell their stories. Everybody has a story, but the problem we have or the challenges we face is that not everyone wants to share that story. So I'm glad you're willing to share your story. Thank you for that presentation. Okay,
Absolutely.
So how did you, for how long have you been a pharmacist?
I became a licensed pharmacist in the summer of 2016, so I'm right about to be at 4 years now.
Wow, and you paid off everything?
Yes, we became officially 100% debt-free in October of 2019, and that includes, cars, credit cards, anything like that. And at that time, we did not have a mortgage, and as you mentioned, we recently bought a house, so now we do have a mortgage.
Right.
So I guess we aren't 100% debt-free anymore, but for a few months there, yes, we had absolutely zero debt.
Oh, okay, that's a great one. I like to hear things like this because I know this story will definitely resonate with so many people, not just pharmacists. So, okay. So how did you develop interest in pharmacy?
Well, I was always interested in something in the medical field. It's kind of a typical story, I suppose, in some ways. I went to college and pursued a degree in molecular biology. And along the way, I discovered that I most definitely did not want to work in a lab. That just seemed like a nightmare to me. And so I thought to myself, okay, I've got to pursue, something that's, I can do beyond just working in a lab. I didn't, obviously didn't want to go for a PhD or anything like that. And there's not really many careers that you can have with just a basic molecular biology degree that don't involve working in a lab. So
Yes.
I said, okay, medicine, pharmacy. Of course, my parents would have been very happy if I become a physician. And
Yes.
I decided not to go that route because personally I wanted to have a family one day. And I thought that, I didn't want to commit so much time to my career because then I would feel beholden to, climbing that career ladder more so than a family. So I thought that maybe pharmacy would be a good compromise for me. I had enjoyed chemistry, organic chemistry
Okay.
during undergrad. And so I thought, okay, pharmacy seems like a good fit. I shadowed a pharmacist at a free clinic just to see if it was something that I felt like I could do on a day-to-day basis. And I really enjoyed what I saw working with that pharmacist there. And so that decided to go ahead and apply to pharmacy school based on that.
Oh, okay. That's awesome. So, now talking about the student loan, the ability for you to pay off that within 4 years. Whose idea
Mm-hmm.
was it? Was it your idea or was it your spouse's idea?
Well, I was single at the time, so it
Okay.
was definitely my idea.
Really? Kudos to you. Kudos to you. All right. So, can you tell us okay, what advice would you want to give to those people who are currently waiting to hear how you managed to pay that off within 4 years? So, just tell us what you did and what your advice to others would be.
I think my number one advice is to get mad at your student loans. The first thing is that you have to want to desperately be rid of them. And I think once you have that motivation and fire, whatever that may be, it may be that you want to change careers, it may be that you want to buy a house, it may be, any number of things for each person, but you have to have some kind of underlying motivation that just makes you almost, and I don't encourage this necessarily, but almost stay up at night like, oh my goodness, how can I pay off these loans faster? You
Yeah.
just have to have that burning fire inside you.
Okay. That's a good one. So, does it mean one has to go strictly on a budget where you have your scale of preference and choose the thing to spend money on, or do you have the tools required for people to really get this off their neck?
Well, like I said, when you're motivated, to me, that says that you want to pay off your student loans quickly. And
Mhm.
so, in that context, you do have to be, probably stricter than you might have to be if you're just saying, okay, I'm going to have these student loans. Let me just pay them off, using the least money as possible. Because that is also an option. Some people would rather do it that way, spend out the least money and however long it takes is however long it takes.
Right,
But I definitely think that a budget is necessary. And
right,
people think that budget is a dirty word, but really all a budget is a spending plan. And you're saying, this is how I'm going to spend my money. And that needs to reflect your priorities. So if your priority is getting out of debt, then that spending plan should reflect that priority, not priority of going on vacations or what have you. On the
right,
other hand, if you don't want to get off debt quickly, then it's fine for your budget to reflect other priorities. And at
right.
the end of the day, what you really have to do is see what you're working with in terms of, money coming in and how many priorities you're able to meet. And it's personal. So it's really up to you.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good one. So, currently you work with only pharmacists, I presume,
Well,
in terms
anyone
of
is
coaching.
welcome, but that's my passion is pharmacist. But anyone is welcome. I'm not gonna turn you away because you don't have a PharmD.
Okay, okay, not a problem at all. Okay, so during the course of your career as a pharmacist, have you mentored anybody? Have you talked people into getting into pharmacy?
I don't know that I've talked anyone into getting into pharmacy. Um, I've had conversations with people, people reach out to me on LinkedIn. And so I do have, several people that will message me, periodically with different questions about how to get into pharmacy school or, what to do in pharmacy school is in terms of finances. Sometimes it's not about finances, sometimes it is. So I do, have those kinds of relationships. And when I did work in a community pharmacy, I had an intern who I did mentor also in that more working intern type relationship. So it really has been kind of varied. And we may get into this later, but right now in my current role, I actually work from home. So I don't have, really direct contact with anybody to do that kind of mentoring. So, my focus is
really?
kind of elsewhere right now. Yeah.
Okay, when you say you currently work from home, are you talking about your pharmacy practice or the coaching practice? Which one?
Both, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So do they allow some certain people work from home as pharmacists?
For the position that I have, I am a prior authorization pharmacist for like a health plan. And so
Okay.
my job is 100% remote. My company actually is
Oh,
not even headquartered in my state. So
whoa,
kind of would be
whoa,
difficult to work at the office.
whoa. I can imagine the happiness you would
Mhm.
have in you. I can imagine how happy your husband would be,
Oh,
knowing
yes.
fully well that he has 100% access to you. And I don't know why I'm just knowing about this for the first time because, like I told you before, I am into research as well. So I've hardly come across any pharmacist who said he or she works from home. And this is a good thing for my listeners to know because a lot of people just have that assumption that all pharmacists they stand from morning till night,
Hmm.
which scares a lot of people. I mentor children, young adults as well, and I know this would definitely make them have a rethink because a lot of them feel pharmacists stand too much.
Hmm.
So I would like you to talk about this. How did you manage to get into this remote role? Do you need like so many years of experience to get in, or you can just get in after pharm school?
So it is possible to get into managed care after pharmacy school. And not every role is going to be work from home, obviously, but there are a significant amount of roles that either are or can be. And so as far as managed care, if you during pharmacy school take care to do, like the summer internships with AMCP or similar, you somehow are able to work for a managed care company, that may be in your city. That can be a way to kind of get your foot in the door. You'll probably be able to network better and meet people who would know about managed care positions that are opening up, because on our team we do have one colleague that went directly into managed care after graduating pharmacy school. The rest of us, for the most part, we worked in either retail or mail order after school and kind of transitioned in. So for me, I actually was probably one in a million in that I wasn't referred to the position. I found it, job searching just like a normal person, and applied. And
Right.
the situation just happened to be correct so that I was able to get hired. They were looking for, pharmacists in my state rather urgently. And so that, kind of translated into me getting hired. So my experience is maybe a little atypical. Typically, I would say networking and who is kind of more how you would get this kind of position. And of course, you can know someone right out of school. It's how you set yourself up.
Right. That's a good one you just said there. Because without information, you would just be doing the same thing everyone else is doing.
Mm-hmm.
It also has to do, like, for example, in the clinical research, they have clinical research monitors who work from home remotely, and you have those who work in-house,
Mm-hmm.
office-based. So if you do not have the right information, if you do not network with people who are doing these other things you do not know, it's always a problem for you to find out or to know what's going on. And that's why I have decided to come up with this program where we can bring in professionals like yourself to come and share their experiences, to teach us what we don't know,
Mm-hmm.
because life is all about networking. So I really do appreciate you for saying this. Thank you very much. So would you be willing to accept emails or messages from people for you to mentor them on, or rather for you to guide them on how to get into this type of remote roles as pharmacists?
Yeah, absolutely. And I do, even now receive messages on LinkedIn or what have you. And, I'll do my best to assist the person as I can. So, I'm definitely open to that.
Right, that's a good one. Okay, so um, outside the financial challenges that you encountered, the student loans and just that. What other challenges do you currently encounter as a pharmacist?
Well, I mean, I would say I probably don't encounter that many challenges right now. I have, probably what most people would dream of in terms of, being able to work from home, things like
Oh,
that.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, I really don't have any complaints, honestly. I
That's a
guess,
dream come true.
yeah,
I know what it feels like.
yeah, I think the only thing right now, we're remodeling our house. And so
Oh, okay.
living in that
Yeah.
transition is a little bit frustrating, but I mean, it's temporary. So
Oh, okay. So, but at times, do you get fed up of working from home?
no, I don't think
Really?
so. I enjoy it. I really do. I was homeschooled as a child, and so I'm used to being at home.
Okay.
Um, you know, most of the time anyway. And so for me, it's not really a big, adjustment. It's nice too, because we have flexibility in our schedule. So for example, every Wednesday from 10 to 12, I'm able to go to a women's Bible study at my church. And so,
Okay.
I have opportunities like that where, I do get out of the house and do other things. And I'm able to be, more flexible than I would be if I were working, at a CVS or Walgreens or something like that.
Right, right, right. Okay. So definitely, I was going to ask you what the work-life blend looks like, but absolutely, from your job description now, that shouldn't be a problem because
Mhm.
you already have that work-life balance.
Yeah. And I mean, we do, work weekends and holidays and things like that. But because we have such a large team, we're able to split. So I only work every fifth weekend. And then typically, I think all of us either cover Thanksgiving or Christmas, not both, one or the other, and alternates per year. And then you usually only cover maybe one other holiday during the year. So really, I mean, even though you do have, those holidays that you have to work, it's not, it's nowhere near what you would be looking at and, pretty much every other profession.
Right,
So
right, right, right. Okay, that's cool. So regarding your financial coaching, you
mhm.
currently do remote sessions for now, I guess.
Yes, I do.
Okay. So if you want my listeners to reach out to you and those people who are interested, what would be the best form of contact? You want them to reach you on LinkedIn or where? Are you on all social
Probably.
media platforms?
So I'm on LinkedIn at Dr. Lillian Pedraza. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram at that same at Dr. Lillian Pedraza. And if you want to get in contact with me most directly, probably easiest to email me. And my email address is hello@lillianpedraza.com. I also have a website, which is lillianpedraza.com. You can, go there and browse and peruse. But the most direct way to contact me would be via email.
Okay. So to my listeners out there, Dr. Pedraza has a very unique name. So when you search for her, I doubt if you would find too many. So just as you see the name on the screen right now, go to LinkedIn, you know, go to her website. Her website is her first name, her last name.com, right? LillianPedraza.com. So
Yes, that's correct.
she will be able to give you tips, especially for those people who are interested in getting into pharmacy.
Mhm.
You should know by now that there are possibilities of you working remotely. So not everyone stands at Walgreens or CVS or in the hospital. All right. So feel free to always reach out to her. She is a nice person. You see how she's always smiling. That's how you know people who are serious about helping people. So she will not turn you down. Reach out, please. So I have one
Absolutely.
other question for you, Lillian. Do you have an advice for those people who um, are thinking of getting into pharmacy, but they feel the duration of the program is discouraging? Do you have any advice for them?
I would say that 4 years is going to go by a lot quicker than you think it is. I wouldn't let the, the idea of 4 years deter you. And if it's the idea of 4 years of sitting in a desk and, taking tests, just know that that last year is clinical. So you're actually in the field, as it were, practicing in different settings of pharmacy to kind of get your feet wet and see what's out there. So really, you only got to do 3 years of, book learning, as it were. And if you're really, even that's too much, there are schools of pharmacy out there that have 3-year programs. So you could be done in, even less time, and even less time of book work. So I would say, if it's truly, what you want, when going into it, have a plan, know what you're going to do, make sure you're building a network, making, a good impression at going through school, and then don't count too much on the time, because it's really not that much time once you're in it.
Okay, that's a good one. That's a great advice. So for those of you in the healthcare sector, you know what it takes to, to get the program done with. You take so much money and you owe so much money. But Lillian was able to pay off her debt within 4 years. That is not an easy task. So if you are in that situation where you're struggling with paying off your student loan, feel free to reach her. She will be able to give you financial advice. She coaches people. That's what she does for a living. So don't feel you can embark on that journey alone. Reach out to people who have done it in a much easier way so they can share their experience with you. So in life, your destination or where you're heading to becomes easier when you have people who guide you, so you won't make the mistakes that they made. So if you're looking for a financial coach, reach out to Dr. Lillian Pedraza. She is the best person for you at this point. Am I right, Lillian?
You're absolutely correct.
Awesome. That's good. Thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know you need to get back to your work. You're working on your new house. I can imagine how excited you are to get all the paintings everywhere. Put the paintings, put all the decorations, and so on. So let me allow you to go back to that. Thank you for joining me on the program, and I hope you would come back when next I reach out to you for another episode.
Oh, absolutely! I'd love to speak with you. It's been awesome.
All right. Thank you very much.